Hi, my name is Philip D'Souza and I'm from HIROC. We at HIROC truly value knowledge sharing, and that's why we're bringing you this series called Blueprint. We're talking to subscribers across the country to find out what they do to support safety at their organization.
Hi, I'm Cathy Szabo. I'm President and CEO of Providence Care. We have a hospital, a transitional care center, a long-term care home, community programs, and a hospice. And we're located in Kingston, Ontario.
Thank you for having us at your organization today. You have an amazing facility, amazing staff, and we heard all about the Experienced Partners program, which is also fantastic, and that's why we're here today. But you personally, you've been in healthcare for some time. You've been a past board chair at HIROC and in healthcare. So what drives you to make an impact?
For the years that I've spent in healthcare, the most rewarding part is to see the difference that we can make as healthcare providers. So the organization itself has great programs and services, but we're all here to serve the people in this community, regardless of which community you are, and regardless of whatever service you provide. But if we can help people stay independent with their life, give them care when they're ill, and then have them connected to the broader healthcare system, that's what motivates me to continue.
What advice would you give other healthcare leaders across the country on taking that step to make an impact, following your blueprint, for example, and empower not only their staff, but empower patients?
I really think it's important that we listen to the people we care for. Being involved in the healthcare system, not just as a provider, but as a family member helping to care for people who need care, I often find that we're so focused on trying to do the right thing that we don't listen to the people that we care for to see what they would like us to do. So I urge the staff to listen to that, our management team. What is it the patient or the person we're caring for in the community needs from us, and do what matters most. It's not that we don't follow the book. We follow all the legislation and regulations, but we try to find ways to do things that are meaningful. And when we were in COVID and we realized we didn't have enough staff to care for people, we looked to our volunteers and we looked to them to help us develop a designated care partner program and patient experience partners. We'd used patient experience partners when we were building our new hospital to make sure that what we were doing made sense to them. But we had to take it beyond just what should the building look like, how does it function. It's about the care that we give and how do we need to change to help people stay as healthy as possible.
Hi, I'm Janet Hunter. I'm the Director of Volunteer Services for Providence Care.
Our program first started in 2015. We decided to create this program for our new build for Providence Care Hospital. We had two hospitals that we were bringing together into one, so we wanted to ensure that we had the patient voice at all of our meetings for planning of the new hospital. I talked to quite a few hospitals in the area and outside, actually, in the States as well, just to see how new hospital builds were happening. And they told us a lot about having the patients involved right from the beginning. So from there, I started to recruit some current volunteers who were volunteering with us because they wanted to give back to the organization and spend time with their patients and ensure that the level of care that they received continued through the organization. So I targeted some volunteers who had experience in mental health, in rehab, in palliative care, different types of care, which brought our two hospitals together. With this group, we were small but mighty. We had 10 experienced partners that came to the table, and we ensured that every meeting that took place for the new hospital, we had an experienced partner sitting at that table. The feedback was incredible. The staff were thrilled to have these experienced partners lending their ear and listening to their stories and sharing the experiences that they had to ensure that our patients would have a great stay with the new building. We ensured that the lifts were compatible with patients, so we had patients and we had experienced partners look at the lifts. We had them look at wheelchairs. We had them look at the build, where things were located in the hospital. So it was very, very successful. It worked out quite well. I had a big aha just after COVID. We were recruiting from our volunteer base because they had experience in the hospital or loved ones had experience here. We created another program called the Designated Care Partner Program during COVID, which enabled us to train the loved ones to get some extra training so that they could come in to see their patients during COVID times. All of a sudden I thought, well, we need more experienced partners on our teams, so why not promote those that were already in the hospitals that are designated care partner programs. So I sent out an email to a lot of family members to tell them about the program and asked them if they were interested in joining to assist to make sure that the future loved ones and patients would also have the kind of care that they received. The number of people that responded was amazing. They all wanted to give back and sit on committees. We did some interviews. They were thrilled. We still have a lot of them that are now, used to be family members, but now they're experienced partners. So it's been a great success so far. The advice that I would give for healthcare organizations is to truly listen to the patients and the families. When we were interviewing one of our experienced partners, he said to me, when I was here at Providence Care, we received amazing care for my mom. I want to ensure that moving forward, all of the patients receive the same kind of care that my mother received. So I want to sit on this committee to ensure that we continue to do the best that we can. Of course, I signed him up right away to become an experienced partner, but it's listening to the patients and listening to their family members. And it's heartwarming listening to their stories. And it doesn't always have to be a positive story that they tell us. It could be somewhere where we need to improve, and we absolutely need to hear those voices as well. So listening to both sides, I think, would be the biggest thing for other organizations to look for.
Hi, I'm Jamie Watson, and I work at Providence Care as the Patient Relations Specialist. Walking around this building, you can see the influence of the patients in every aspect of how this building was designed and created. It was designed with the people who would be using it in mind and with their voices heard. Whenever we design services as healthcare organizations, I think it's very important to have the voice at the decision-making table of everybody who will be affected by that decision. So if you are building a new pharmacy per se, you would want to have physicians and pharmacists at that table. Anytime that we design anything that is going to affect patients, we should have patients at that decision-making table. And it only stands to reason that we will actually waste less time if we involve right from the get-go all of the people who will be using those services rather than having to go backwards and revamp programs after they've been started. If we can build a collaborative and incorporated program from the bottom up, we'll always stand on a very strong foundation of patient-centeredness.
We've created a lot of wonderful programs because of the experienced partners that have made the stay for our patients so much better. We've created a program where our experienced partner, we've worked together with him to develop a program to orient new patients coming into the building. We tell them all about how Providence Care works, where things are located on the unit. We educate not only the patients, but the family members as well, so they have a huge part in their orientation for the organization. So it was a staff member that said, could we please get some experienced partners on board so they can share their stories with us so we can create this program to ensure that we meet the needs of all of our patients. Communication has been vital. Our experienced partners are very forthcoming with information. They feel comfortable sitting at committees, whether there's the CEO, a VP, or other managers there, they feel very comfortable in voicing their ideas because they are so accepted by our staff members, and it's an incredible relationship that they've built together.
So our storytelling campaign really started with our experienced partners sharing their stories and experiences, really doing what we have asked of them in bringing forth what matters the most to them. We really wanted to create a focused and targeted campaign for them to be able to share those stories with all of the staff and personnel across the broad organization. It also allowed us to gather their stories to communicate back to the community at large, to recruit more people who have had experiences at Providence Care so that we're able to incorporate a broader variety of voices to help us continue building out our Experienced Partner program and continue to improve our services across the organization. Recently, we decided to include the Patient Experienced Partner program at the annual plan level, and it's one of our quality improvement indicators in how much we are engaging the patients and the people that we serve here. Our patient and family advisors and experienced partners have been invited to participate on every level of service and program planning and implementation across the organization. And our goal was to create 100% saturation of those programs, of PCPs participating on those programs. Our patients, families, clients, and residents, the people that we serve, really, obviously, they are the center, and they really do inspire everything that we do here in regards to these programs. It's the success of having them say, "I really feel heard and I feel listened to." That's very important to us. We have used the guidance of the Institute for Patient and Family-Centered Care. They have been working for decades on these initiatives, and they have fantastic toolkits and guidelines. So those have been really, really helpful in helping us create plans and work plans and surveys so that we can design our services around those and not reinvent the wheel, right?
Hello, my name is Jamie Hart. I'm a former patient, a volunteer, and an experienced partner.
I found that getting their voice heard helps them, helps the family and the patient more than just going into a hospital and just like, here, this is what you get, this is what you have. So with this program, they can actually say, you know what, this isn't working, we could maybe do this for us. It depends on the specific, I find, the specific patient has specific needs. And as a program, we can address that to the nurses and doctors on scene. 100%. To give back is one of my things I love to do. Like I said, I was a patient at one of the Providence Care hospitals, and I got treated so well by the staff. So to give back and give a little bit more of a voice for the patient, 100%.
Hi, I'm Michelle Pody, and I am currently the board chair of Providence Care. At Providence Care, the board embraced the Providence Care Experienced Partner Initiative. When you have a look at the vision of the board, we are very committed to family and patient-centered care. And, we're sort of thinking, how can we do that if we don't have some line of sight into the patients, their families, their caregivers? So the Experienced Partner program naturally was something that we needed to consider. So approximately 4 years ago, the board sort of embarked on having, going to that next level from the senior leadership team and so on to having 2 representatives that would be recruited. And so we have 1 external experienced partner representative. They must have had patient experience, family, or caregiving experience recently with one of Providence Care Services. And then the other representative was an experienced partner. These 2 representatives then became a part of our Performance Assurance Quality Committee, which is a committee of the board. And, you know, as the name suggests, they are responsible for monitoring and reviewing and suggesting board policy, looking at risk and deliberating where there might be issues and so on. The patient voice is extremely important to feeding into what the board is doing. One of the things that we start all of our meetings with is our mission statement for Providence Care, and it's all about the patient and how we want to ensure that the services we're delivering are fulfilling the needs of these vulnerable folks in our communities, in our homes, in our society, and how could we do it if we didn't have this voice? So it was extremely well accepted. The board absolutely values the program. I have had the honor of, as board chair, we do a one-on-one meeting each year with all of our directors, and we have included our 2 experienced partner reps as well, and Jamie was one of those. And we've learned a lot from these 2 individuals, and they have changed over time in the 4 years. So that feedback is important to how we look at what it is we should be monitoring as a board from a risk point of view as well. Oh, the advice that I would give to other hospital boards or organizations in healthcare is that I don't know how we could do our job and fulfill the stewardship and the responsibilities that we take on as a director of a healthcare organization if we aren't hearing from experienced partners who have been patients or family members or caregivers.
How have you taken to having a patient, join the committee and sit at meetings?
Yeah, well, they provide a different voice. I think it's enriched the discussions. I've maybe heard some things that I didn't think in the same way, and it's allowed me to go back to the senior team and go, you know what? I think having the opportunity to have patient experience partners help shape the organization is a gift. I'm not sure every patient experience partner who might want to contribute can contribute in a way that is helpful to the whole organization.
Sounds like your blueprint is also thinking outside the box. And not just you, but you empowering those around you to do so. So I guess the follow-up question would be, there are some people who may, there's a fear of failure or a fear of, trying something new, maybe because of lack of resources or whatever the case may be in kind of the world we're living in right now. What would you say to those folks to just get them over the hump to get the conversation started?
Yeah. Sometimes what we think we need and what we want isn't the resources that we can access. So sometimes you take the resources that you have, figure out how best to use them, and then how can those people then help you give your best possible care. So if your goal is always to give people the best care, sometimes you have to change the way you operate. Sometimes you can see things that other people can't. Sometimes people are shy and need to be tapped on the shoulder and say, would you like to volunteer for us in a different way? From helping people find their way in the hospital or sitting at the front desk or working in one of our gift shops. Can you help us actually change the way we do work to make it better for all the other people? And sometimes people don't see that they have that skill in themselves. Sometimes it takes somebody else to point that out to them. One of my senior team members has a saying in it, if you say yes, it changes everything. So if you really look at how best we can do this, and yes, this can happen, then you start thinking in a way that moves you in that direction. So I'm very grateful to the senior team that I have and the board support that they provide to the senior team and myself and me, and as well as the work that they do to keep Providence Care moving forward.
That's fantastic.
We've had some pretty hard discussions the last little while. And everyone knows a post-COVID world is, we don't have as many resources as we need to care for people. So I imagine that needs to be strengthened as we move forward. You really need to look to your community, and you really need to look to your partners. No one organization can do things alone anymore.
Why do you value partnerships? What do they mean to you?
Well, we see the people that we care for a very short period of time. However, it's longer than some of our partners. We had one of our patients stand up one day and say, KGH saved my life. Providence Care, you gave it back to me. And they had been a person receiving care here for 3 years. And their goal was to walk. And they never thought they could walk. But when they left Providence Care, they were walking. But it didn't happen in a 4 or 5 day or a 6 day cycle. It happened with a lot of support from physio, OT, rehab, social work, speech language, physicians, the whole clinical team wrapped around this person to be able to help them achieve their goal of walking again. So we're in the long game, but we know when people leave us, they still may need some community supports. We've worked closely with our local Ontario Health East, to try to get funding for Providence Care, Transitional Care Center program at home, so that we can see people in the Transitional Care Center and then we can follow them home with the same rehab staff, the same social workers, the same nurses, so that there's a continuity of care in the transition. But in the end, they still may need some additional services that we won't be able to provide for them. So we turn to our community partners through community support, or through adult day programs or other services that are out there to help people stay healthy, and by helping them with their activities of daily living. We work very closely with Addiction and Mental Health, Kingston, Frontenac. We work very closely with the Kingston Community Health Center with their addictions and mental health programs because of the amount of work that we do in mental health. We work closely with KHSC, Kingston Health Sciences Center, to be able to say, we're your partner. If you identify people, anybody who could benefit by having care here, refer them. We'll try to look after them. If not, we'll find a place for them. If you don't have those kind of networks, the people that we care for can't get the care they need and won't be independent with their activities of daily living. So partnership's very important. And in this world, none of us have enough human resources to do it all on our own. You do have to partner with people and try to look for different ways of delivering care.
You're just, an amazing leader, and I truly value you. And so what keeps you motivated and keeps you, you personally, and drives you, and, to just keep being you?
If I think I can make a difference and I can help the community get the services that they need, you probably know that I'm not a very shy person, and that I can call people at the ministry, or I continue to say, we really need to do this, we really need to do that. I realize resources are limited, but if you plant the seed of an idea of something that could be better, eventually you'll be able to get the resources you need to do something. I think the other piece at this stage of my career is what really motivates me is seeing people that I work with alongside as a senior team demonstrating leadership and taking on new roles and responsibilities, being innovative, so that I know when I do choose to retire in the future, that there'll be a strong team that's here to continue the work.
We're all on this journey to turn the corner on patient safety. And so what does that turning the corner on patient safety mean to you?
Wow. Well, what interested me about HIROC when I first was looking at the work that they did was partnering for a safer healthcare system. The risk management services that HIROC provides and the support that they give to the individual organizations helps you develop a program that limits risk. We're in a risky business. It's called healthcare. So being able to identify risk, preventing it, mitigating it if it should happen, and then hopefully learning from that information or that experience to try to have it not happen again is why I was very interested in working with HIROC. So HIROC was more than just an insurance company that said, okay, we'll pay your claim. It was about, let's look at the situation around the claim. How do we educate people to make sure this doesn't happen again? And how do we make sure that the person who had this happen to them is adequately compensated for the error that may have occurred? I think the education piece is just as important as all the rest of the items. I can have the very best risk mitigation program, but if I don't educate my staff or I don't educate the people that we care for about helping them help themselves to be as healthy as possible, then I've missed a critical part of the person's journey in health. The other thing that motivates me is to try to get people over to how do we stay as healthy as possible. And I think working with the people here and with HIROC and other agencies, when you see what the standards are, when you see what risk management means, when you can count on someone to help you through this, again, you can't do it alone. You need partners. So that's what motivates me as well.
Absolutely. That's kind of why we're here today with Cathy and her team to share the blueprint of safety and of leadership in healthcare. And so we thank you, Cathy, and your team here at Providence Care for showing us that. But also, it kind of just hits home our North Star at HIROC to share the value in sharing knowledge across the healthcare system, learning from one another, learning from Cathy and her team, and seeing how we can all make a change to make an impact, to turn the corner on patient safety. So thank you, Cathy. We appreciate everything.
Thank you, Philip. Take care.